Emeka, if you want to obtain power, fame and wealth, you must sacrifice your only sister to my God, the native doctor stated with a loud laugh echoing along. Emeka was shocked and at the same time ready. He loves Adis, but he is doing this for her sake too. In the bustling town of Umuahia, where the beautiful colors of life danced under the African sun, lived a young man named Emeka. Known for his charm and ambition, Emeka had always dreamed of wealth and success. But under his smiling face lay a dark secret, a growing desperation to achieve his desires at any cost. Emeka had a younger sister, Adis, who was the light of his life. Their bond was strong, and he cherished her deeply. However, when Emeka's quest for money reached new heights, he began to entertain dangerous thoughts. Influenced by whispers of hidden power and dark magic, he made a fateful decision that would forever alter their lives. One night, driven by greed and an insatiable hunger for wealth, Emeka decided to follow the footsteps of his wealthy childhood friend Obinna. Obinna has been advising him to take actions in his hands if he is ready to be wealthy. He told Emeka that the least he can do is give him little money, but he can show him the oil well if he is ready. When Emeka got to his house that night, Obinna took him to a notorious native doctor. The native doctor promised him untold riches but at a grave cost. Emeka, if you want to obtain power, fame and wealth, you must sacrifice your only sister to my God, the native doctor stated with a loud laugh echoing along. Emeka was shocked and at the same time ready. He loves Adis, but he is doing this for her sake too. But don't worry, because she is not going to die, but she will forever remain useless to herself. Despite the horrifying nature of the request, Emeka was moved by the beauty of wealth and agreed to the terms. He chose Adis, believing that he could protect her from harm. The ritual was conducted in secrecy, with dark chants and incantations that filled the room with a foreboding energy. Emeka's heart pounded with fear and anticipation as he handed over a portion of his soul to the native doctor. 7 days after the ritual, Adis began to fall ill. At first, it was a mild fever that seemed like nothing more than a common cold. But as time passed, her condition worsened. She experienced unending pains and weakness, leaving her bedridden. Emeka, now flush with newfound wealth, used his resources to seek medical help. He spent huge amounts of money on doctors and treatments, each one promising a cure but delivering only temporary relief. Despite his efforts, Adis' health continued to worsen, and her sickness became more severe with each passing day. As Adis' condition worsened, Emeka's guilt grew. He watched helplessly as his sister's once vibrant spirit was consumed by the illness. The money he had acquired through the ritual seemed to haunt him, offering no peace in his growing situation. At night, Emeka would sit by Adis' bedside, tormented by the sound of her labored breathing. The wealth he had sought so desperately felt like a heavy burden, and the price he had paid weighed heavily on his conscience. The realization that his actions had brought this suffering upon his beloved sister was almost too much to bear. Despite Emeka's lavish spending on Adis' treatment, her condition remained worse. The desperation and guilt of seeing his sister stay in pain led him to seek the native doctor once more, hoping for a solution to his growing problem. The native doctor's presence was always visible, and his eyes gleamed with a cold, calculating light. He listened to Emeka's pleas with a mixture of disdain and amusement. "The ritual has bound your sister's fate to your own desires," he said coldly. "Until you stop getting wealth, her suffering will only increase. The more you accumulate wealth, the more her suffering will grow." Emeka's heart sank. The native doctor's words confirmed his worst fears, that the ritual had placed a curse upon Adis, and there was no escape from the torment it had unleashed. Desperate to save his sister, Emeka began to explore alternative ways to break the curse. He sought out various healers, spiritual leaders, and even traveled to distant towns in search of a remedy. But each attempt proved futile, and Adis' condition continued to worsen. Emeka's successful business began to look like a joke to him as his focus shifted entirely to his sister's health. The wealth he had acquired was quickly increased, and he found himself in a cycle of spending and getting. He realized that the more his sister's sickness increases, the more money he gets. He also found out that the more he tried to fix the situation, the deeper he sank into his own self-made hell. Despite the severe pain and suffering, Adis showed remarkable resilience. Her spirit remained unbroken, and she continued to fight against the illness with a strength that inspired everyone around her. Her friends and family, who had noticed the drastic change in her health, stayed around her, offering support and encouragement. Adis' courage and determination touched the hearts of many. The community began to take notice of Emeka's plight, and whispers of sympathy and concern spread through the town. Yet, Emeka remained consumed by guilt and fear, unable to find peace in the kindness of others because he knew he was the cause. As Emeka's desperation reached its peak, he had a dream where he stumbled upon a book, and he started studying it. In the dim light of his study, he read through the pages, uncovering some secrets. The book revealed that the native doctor's power came from manipulating the suffering of others, and the ritual Emeka had participated in was designed to ensure perpetual torment because the ritual will continue to torment him even in death. When Emeka woke up, it felt so real. The truth hit him like a bomb. He realized that he didn't just condemn Adis like to a life of suffering, but has also been caged in the native doctor's torment. The revelation fueled his determination to find a way to break the curse and save his sister from the trap he created. One evening, as Emeka was wandering through the town in search of answers, he encountered an elderly woman named Nneka. She was known for her wisdom and knowledge of ancient traditions and healing practices. Emeka, driven by desperation, approached her and shared his story. Nneka listened intently, her face growing grave as she absorbed the details of Emeka's predicament. "The ritual you undertook is deeply rooted in dark magic," she said. "To undo its effects, you must seek forgiveness and find a way to restore balance. It will not be easy, but it is possible." Nneka agreed to help Emeka, offering him guidance and spiritual insight into the steps he needed to take to break the curse. Emeka held to the hope that Nneka's wisdom might be the key to freeing Adis from her suffering. Under Nneka's guidance, Emeka embarked on a journey of redemption. He told Adis everything, seeking forgiveness for the pains he caused her through his greed. Nneka also instructed Emeka to undertake a series of rituals designed to purify his spirit and restore balance. These rituals required deep self-sacrifice and acts of kindness. Emeka struggled with the demanding process, but he remained committed to saving his sister and undoing the damage he had caused. With Nneka's guidance, Emeka gathered the courage to confront the native doctor once more. The man's presence was as intimidating as ever. "I have come to undo the curse you placed upon my sister," Emeka declared, his voice trembling with determination. "I have sought forgiveness and made amends. I demand that you lift the curse and release Adis from her suffering." The native doctor's eyes narrowed with a mix of anger and amusement. "You think you can simply undo what has been done? The power of the ritual is not easily broken. You have only begun to scratch the surface of the darkness you have unleashed." The response was heartbreaking, but Emeka refused to give up. He knew that confronting him was only one part of the journey and that he needed to continue his efforts to save Adis. Despite the difficulties, Emeka began to notice small signs of improvement in Adis' condition. The treatments and rituals prescribed by Nneka seemed to be having a positive effect, and Adis' health showed slight but encouraging signs of recovery. Emeka's hope was renewed, and he continued to follow Nneka's guidance with unwavering commitment. The support of the community and the love of his sister fueled his determination to see the journey through to the end. Even as Adis' condition improved, Emeka struggled with the weight of his guilt. The knowledge that his actions had caused so much pain weighed heavily on him. He found it difficult to fully enjoy the progress they were making, knowing the extent of the suffering he had inflicted upon his sister. Emeka sought peace in his daily rituals and acts of kindness, hoping that they would help alleviate his guilt. He made a conscious effort to support Adis emotionally and physically, providing her with the care and love she needed during her recovery. Nneka continued to play a crucial role in Emeka's journey, offering him guidance and support as he navigated the path to redemption. Her wisdom and spiritual insights helped Emeka understand the deeper aspects of the ritual and the nature of his own darkness. She explained that true redemption required more than just breaking the curse, it required a profound transformation of the self. Nneka taught Emeka about the importance of inner peace and balance. She guided him through meditation and spiritual exercises that helped him confront and release the guilt and remorse he carried. Through these practices, Emeka began to experience moments of clarity and calm, which provided him with the strength to continue his efforts for Adis' recovery. As Emeka continued his journey of redemption, the community's support became increasingly significant. Friends and neighbors, who had once been distant, began to rally around him and Adis. They offered practical help, emotional support, and prayers for Adis' recovery. Emeka's renewed dedication to his sister and his efforts to make amends had a ripple effect on those around him. The community's involvement not only provided practical assistance but also reinforced the idea that collective support and compassion could make a difference in their lives. Determined to break the curse once and for all, Emeka prepared for a final confrontation with the native doctor. He knew that this would be the most challenging part of his journey and that he needed to be both mentally and spiritually prepared. With Nneka's guidance, Emeka performed a series of cleansing rituals and prayers to fortify himself before facing the sorcerer. He felt a renewed sense of purpose and clarity, ready to confront the darkness that had plagued his life. When Emeka arrived at the shrine, the atmosphere was charged with tension. Emeka decided to surrender everything. "I don't want the wealth anymore, I just want you to undo everything." The native doctor greeted him with a cold, calculating gaze. "You have come to challenge the darkness you willingly embraced, but the cost of your actions cannot be undone so easily," he said. "The curse upon your sister will be lifted, but remember that true redemption requires more than just lifting a curse, it requires a lifetime of atonement." Emeka felt a surge of relief and gratitude since the native doctor's words confirmed that Adi's suffering would come to an end, but Emeka knew that his journey toward redemption was far from over. Few days later, Adi's health began to improve significantly. The once severe symptoms of her illness gradually faded, and she started to regain her strength. Emeka's heart swelled with joy as he witnessed the positive changes in his sister's condition. The community continued to support Adi's and Emeka, celebrating her recovery and the end of her suffering. Emeka felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the help and encouragement he had received from those around him. With Adi's health restored, Emeka turned his focus to continuing his journey of redemption. He began by dedicating everything he had to the acts of charity and service, using his remaining wealth to support those in need. Emeka also sought to rebuild his relationships and make amends with Chioma because he had dearly wronged her. Rebuilding trust was a challenging but vital aspect of Emeka's journey. He worked hard to regain the trust of his sister. His actions spoke louder than words, and he was determined to demonstrate his commitment to positive change. Even though he has gone back to square one, his experiences had taught him the value of contentment, compassion, and selflessness. With her health fully restored, Adis began to embrace a new beginning. She pursued her passions and interests with renewed mindset, focusing on her personal growth and supporting her brother in his small business. Emeka supported her every step of the way, proud of the strength and resilience she had shown throughout her ordeal. Emeka and Adi's journey was a powerful reminder of the importance of forgiveness and redemption. After a few years of grinding and building, Emeka's business experienced a sharp turn, attracting massive investors and customers. Emeka smiled, looking at his present wealth and looking back at the past few years. He realized that, though the journey would be tough, but victory and accomplishment is sure. He smiled and walked out of his home to a business meeting. What is your thoughts about Emeka's story? Like and subscribe for more interesting and educative videos like this. Thank you.